Okay, see if you guys can find this form. Lead-based paint. This one pretty much everybody know, but I mean, we all need to let the buyer or even tenant sign it. You know, if any house is prior to 1978. It's still printing. Still printing. It takes some time. The following term and condition are hereby incorporated and made part of a, you know, whatever. It could be purchase agreement or lease agreement. See, most likely there's two forms. Yeah, doesn't matter you lease through the apartment or you're buying any building, they will let you sign if anything is the 1978 or, you know, or earlier. So you put all the buyers, basically it's a buyer's name or tenant's name and seller's name, everything, and so to the address. And always when you date it, it's what? Purchase agreement date. Not seller signing whatever the counter offer date. It's always the buyer's agent when they prepare the date, the purchase agreement date. So you'll see on the RPA CA, top left-hand corner, they have a date, and that's a dated. That's why with the D, dated, it's got to be the old one, not what you put today's date or whatever the date. It's purchase agreement date. So you'll see that either everything is referred to buyer or tenant, seller or landlord. Last warning statement, sales or purchase. Every purchase of any interest in the residence real property at which is a residence dwelling was built prior to 1978 is notified that such property may present exposure to lead from lead-based paint that may place young children at risk of developing lead poison. Lead poison in your children may produce permanent neurologic damage, including learning disability, reduced intelligence, quotient, and behavior problems, and impaired memory. Lead poison also poses a particular risk of pregnant women. The seller of the interest in the residence real property is required to provide the buyers that any information on lead-based paint hazard from risk assessment inspection in the seller's possession and notify the buyer of any known base paint hazard. A risk assessment of inspection for possible lead-based paint hazard is recommended prior to purchase. We always sign this form. Do we actually do the lead-based paint inspection? At least not from my buyer or my tenant. But to the landlord's or seller's point of view, you gotta have to let the buyer or tenant sign this to protect themselves, seller and tenant. I mean, seller and landlord. Because if you without signing this form, hey, who knows? If they a premature baby coming out or anything disability, and if the baby or their kids have neurology problem, oh, we're in big trouble. Yeah. But with this form, hey, you signed it, you know, then don't blame me. Yeah. Otherwise, you can lease a newer property, or you can lease or buying the newer property if somebody have a concern and buy something after 1978. But some of the cities just don't have it, unfortunately. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Just like, okay, the other one is how about earthquake? Earthquake safety. Earthquake safety, you will have one form. Later on, I'll show you. You know, earthquake safety. What year? You need to sign the earthquake safety. No, 1960. Prior 1960. Because before 1960, you have the raised foundation property, and used to be the raised foundation. The old building code is every 12 feet you have a post on the bottom. But new building code after 1960 is every 6 feet. So that's why when you do the inspection on the older house, 1960 or prior to that, what do you usually, the inspector, they will go underneath the raised foundation and take a look. Use a flashlight and take a look how far in between.
Some of them you can see, oh, the newer stud, one is the older stud. Why? Because the owner, they reinforce with the stud in between 12 feet. They put another stud, and that's for the new building code. It's not going to cost more. Each stud, it probably costs, if you have somebody put it in with a concrete base, probably $200 each. It probably costs a couple $1,000 to reinforce the whole house. 2,000-3,000, depending on how big is your house. Yeah, but that's it could be for the buyer. It could be the extra cost. So those are. But can you tell the seller to do it for you? When you do the request for repair, if you know how to do it, you could request it. Seller may not give it to you. So it's depending on how much you pay for it. You want to pay over asking? Maybe. You get a discount price? No. Depend on the market though. Unless it's like the buyer's market, seller will probably do a lot of things for you. Seller's market, seller will do anything for you. You want to buy it? Buy the way it is. And lead warning statement. Lease and rental. Housing built before 1978 may contain a lead-based paint. Lead from paint chips, and dust can pose health hazard. If not managed properly, lead exposure is especially harmful to your children and pregnant women. Before renting pre-1978 housing, leaser must disclose the presence of the lead-based paint and or lead-based paint hazard in the drilling. Leasee must also receive federal approved pamphlet on lead poison prevention. So basically, when we give it out the earthquake safety, that also including the lead-based paint hazard. So remember, if we give the buyer, or suppose we should give it a tenant and a pamphlet too, but usually we just give it to the buyer. Yeah, tenant would just let them sign it. We didn't really, give the pamphlet, but now it's, we can email it, because since our library has the zip phone library has the whole package. Yeah. No, never. Never. Nobody say anything yet. I don't want it. Yeah. I would not stop any tenant or buyer if they want to do all kinds of inspection. Fine. Don't stop them to do anything. If you stop, as a buyer's agent, if you stop them to do anything, whose fault is that? You, buyer's agent. It's on their expense. And seller have to cooperating. If seller is not cooperating, buyer probably won't buy it. Yeah. Some buyer, they are so pissed. They say, why they do so many inspections? They say, well, that's their right. Did you pay for it? No. Then why bother? Oh, they're going to have to come in and do this, do that. Yeah, that's their right. The buyer, they can do all kinds of inspection, from the general inspection to the roof inspection to the plumbing to actually soil to civil. And what else? If you got a septic tank, you got a well, a lot of inspection. And can you stop them? You better not. And certainly, mold inspection, lead-based paint inspection. Easily, they can do 10 different inspection, and so they need to cooperating. If not, so it's going to be a trouble, because basically, if you're a listing agent and the buyer want to do all kinds of inspection, most likely, what we deal with is the general inspection and mold inspection. That's probably the general inspection definitely, but mold inspection not so common, but once in a while. Any other inspection, never deal with it. Sometimes you do the why we do some people want to do the civil inspection. That's basically measure the premises on the lot. But as a buyer's agent, if the general inspection report says something wrong with the property, don't give them any suggestion to what kinds of inspection, because we don't know. We're not an expert. Because it happened in the real case, the buyer's agent suggests a structural engineer to check the house. And structure engineer say, the house is fine, no problem. But what's wrong with it? It's not level. Soil. And you hired a wrong expert. You should have a soil engineer or the geologic engineer to look at the whole property on the foundation. And who got to pay for the inspection? Buyer's agent. It's all your fault. And it's not cheap. General inspection is cheap. Okay, $300. But when you get other inspection, it's not cheap. $700, $800 to $1,000, easy. So you rather keep the mouth shut. You rather play dumb. Okay, because we don't know. And so do the general inspector. They don't know either. They say, okay, maybe the house is not level. Then it could be structural. It could be a soil. But you gotta have to know. Even I know what's wrong with the structure. If a structural issue, the door cannot close properly. Okay, so if the wall lean to somewhere, okay, the whole house, then the door, when you close it, you cannot really close properly. But it's a soil. The door can still close, but the house is not level. One time when you see the roller high house, and when I walk in the house, and I know it's not level, and I show the contractor, he is a buyer, James, is it level? I say, no, it shouldn't. I can feel it. I think it's way about like 1 to 2 degrees off. 1 to 2 degrees, you can see it? I say, I can feel it. Because sometimes you can see it, like in between the sliding door, you can see it, if the wall is straight or not. Okay, if you walk out, the house, and if you really want to show them, now we have smartphone. Okay, put on the ground, you can see if it's off. Okay, and so the contractor, okay, fine, I'll get my laser, guy, shoot on the wall and see if it's really off. It is 2 degrees off. I said, you're right. I said, we didn't even use a ball. Some of them, downtown, they have one building, they have a big trouble right now. It's because their foundation, a brand new high-rise building, their foundation is linked to a couple of degrees. Oh no, downtown LA. No, they have the big lawsuit now. Yeah, because that's it, because they got a subway passing by. Yeah. Don't buy it. If you want to buy it, you're going to have to fix the foundation. Then it's not cheap. Push the house up, right? Push the house level. Raised foundation is easier to fix because you can do the sectional. But it's a concrete slab. It's a one piece. You have to level. So in the case you take the client to the house, the house is strong. You cannot not say anything. When I see the crack, when I feel the crack on the foundation, and I have to disclose it. If the buyer still insists want to buy, I will put my agent remark everything, everywhere. It's not my responsibility if later on you are after me. The bottom line is I don't want to get any lawsuit. What if something is not visible? If not visible, then not much we can do. Okay? If the crack, you cannot feel it. For example, if the crack on the foundation and it's a flat, but it's already cracked, okay? But didn't really like off on the concrete slab. But you cannot feel that if they put on tiles or carpet. I'm sorry. Tile or wood floor or carpet, then you cannot feel it. Okay? Then not much we can do. So, like, if you take the patient, the client in the house, like from you, that. If you walk on the hallway, and I can feel it if it's a flat level or not, just by walking. That's because you see enough house. Okay, you see thousands of a house, you'll know if the house is okay or not. Sometime when you walk on the second floor, you can probably more feeling, if the house is like linked to somewhere, because
the degree was more. Single story, a little bit hard because you can just, based on the foundation. Yeah, especially if they raise foundation, some of could be, I walk on it, okay, wait a minute, this bedroom is kind of off. Just a one bedroom because right on the corner. So there could be sink, just on that foundation a little bit. I still will tell them. I will definitely tell them. Okay. It's my job. Okay. That's what we call the American way. American way, you disclose everything. Asian way, not me though. Yeah.
Could you share your
$200?
no, 300, you mentioned $300.
$300, $400, for the general inspection. It's a general. They basically just see whatever they can see. Okay. But if you are dedicating to the expertise, put it this way, general inspector doesn't require what? License. You and me, we can be a general inspector. Write a report. That's all you need to do. But rest of them, they are talk about expertise. They mold inspector, okay, lead-based paint inspector, or civil structure, soil. They all need expertise, and it's not going to be cheap.
How about plumbing and then
Plumbing, you can have contractor that come over, but do you think they come? Well, they probably won't come out for free. At least a trip fee, or roof inspector. They all come at a trip fee.
so that plumbing not including the general vacuum.
General inspection, they can only check on the pressure, but or the drainage. But exactly where leaking, how do you do it? You gotta have the ultrasound to scope, or for the laser to go through. Laser eye go through the pipe. It's costly, right? I see that at the people that get through the camera from the roof. They see the drainage, everything. $500. Ultrasound, find out where's the septic tank. Another $600. It's all about money. Let me get you the other copy. Set. I've got two. I think it's also just two more set left. Hamil, you got it? You got it? Yeah. Okay. You got it? Okay. Hi, man. Anybody miss? You got one more copy? Need them? Okay, that's fine. You need a copy? Okay. Let me print it out. Another set. Whoever need a copy or missing one, just need one more copy. Okay, you got it. Just give a few minutes to print it out. Okay. All right. And the EPA lead-based paint renovation, repair, and painting rule. The new rule required that the contractor and maintenance professional work in the pre-1978 housing, childcare facility, and schools with the lead-based paint be certified. That their employee be trained and that they follow protectively work practice standard. The rule applied to renovation, repair, and painting activity affecting more than 6 square feet of a lead-based paint in the room or more than 20 square feet of lead-based paint on the exterior. Enforcement of the rule beginning October 1st, 2010. See the EPA website. And for more information, if you cannot find those people, whoever can know how to do the lead-based paints, so do I, okay? And we check on the website. See if they have somebody they can refer to. Okay, because it's not, if you don't know, it's okay. Just ask. So do I. When I don't know, I ask. And don't feel shame and say, oh, if somebody asks you something, especially I know Asian, you are pretending you understand, don't do that. If you don't know anything, that's okay. And say, okay, that's a great question. I'll find out for you. Okay. Don't pretend that you know, you understand, because if you don't, then you're in trouble. Even some of them is outside of our focus, our scope, then don't even bother. Sometimes you play dumb. I'll say, I'll see what I can do. I'll find out. Even I kind of know what's the answer. Yeah. Seller, landlord, any disclose, okay? If we anything, you need to disclose and put it right here. So basically, if you don't put it, I mean, we have no knowledge of lead-based paint and or lead-based paint hazard in the housing other than the following. So that means the whole house, we have no knowledge. Second, we have no reports or records pertaining to lead-based paint and or lead-based paint hazard in the house other than the following, which previously and as the attachment of this addendum has been provided to the buyer or tenant. So usually we leave it blank because we don't know anything. When you leave blank, I mean, that's it, no report or no knowledge. Okay, one more copy. That I think this is ready. So whoever need it, okay, you can go get it. Thanks. The one on the 305 printer. Thank you. And we previously, as attachment at the addendum, have provided buyer or tenant with the pamphlet. Protect your family from land in your home and or equivalent pamphlet approved for use in the state, such as the homeowner guide to environmental hazard and earthquake safety. And only the for sale transaction only, buyer has 10 days unless otherwise agreed in the real estate purchase contract to conduct a risk assessment and inspection of the presence of the lead-based paint and or lead-based paint hazard. After acceptance, we only have 10 days to do the inspection on lead-based paint. Okay, right here. And that's why most of listing agent, they may use this as a guideline and tell you finish all the inspection within 10 days. Yeah, because here it's got mentioned this on this area. And that's only one copy. Yeah. Seller and landlord sign it, date it. And buyer, you gotta have to remember, buyer has to be initial on the bottom. Remember that. I know sometimes when we see the disclosure, buyer forgot an initial.
What issue if,
yeah.
If the buyer asks us what kind of inspection we need to do?
What?
Our agent.
What?
Buyer on my house, right? So what kind of inspection you need to do?
That's starting with the general inspection. And then we can extend it because general inspector will tell you what's wrong with the house. Then you find a special expertise to continue. Roofing, could be plumbing, could be mold, could be soil, could be geologic or structural, anything. Okay? Always start with the general. Yeah. But if the buyer, they are a contractor, they think they know everything. They don't want to do the inspection. What do we need to do? Let the buyer sign the waiver. You declining on us, our recommendation. Don't sue me if you have anything. So you got to, buyer, you got to sign a waiver. Same thing on the other hand. If
this is a property. For example, I showed the property this morning at 8 o'clock, and the it's a house. You know, it's been canceled. So what's the buyer's first thing? James, can you give me the inspection report? Possible. They may have the inspection report and they cancel. I want to see the inspection report first, then before I submit an offer. That's fair. But if this particular, my buyer doesn't hire another inspector and just using as the previous buyer's inspection report as the guideline, my buyer needs to sign the waiver because he did not hire another one, because I recommend you hire another one to double check, and he did not do it. Who's declining on my recommendation? Yeah, my buyer.
So still need to sign the waiver.
Yeah, even you get an inspection report from the previous buyer or from seller. Sometimes seller, they do the inspection report. If you want to use it as a guideline and you don't want to hire the second inspector for the opinion, you still need to sign a waiver. And you cannot, after the inspector, the previous inspector or seller's hire inspector, because you did not pay them. You have no right to claim. You have no right to blame them if they didn't find anything. Later on, if like you didn't find out something wrong with the house. Oh, because the inspector didn't find it. Well, who hired the inspector? Not you. Then keep your mouth shut. That's fine. That's their choice. Still need to sign a waiver. You give up, you sign an inspection contingency and the waiver at the same time. Yeah, because but sometimes, you know, can the buyer sign the inspection, do the inspection, and also signing the inspection contingency waiver? Sure. No matter how bad is a house after inspection, I will still buy it. So they remove the contingency the inspection contingency. It doesn't really conflict though. Yeah. Usually we don't do that because that's kind of stupid. Okay. But if we practice the Northern California way, is before they entering the escrow, they drop it off initial deposit money to escrow. They'll finish signing all the disclosure, finish all the general inspection and all kinds of inspection before you went into escrow. So the only contingency you have is loan and appraisal. That's it. Sometimes if you remove the appraisal, then you got nothing left. Yeah. And if you pay all cash, then you sign it. Remove contingency before open. Remove all contingency before you open escrow.
What's the difference between the CD inspection and the general inspection?
Okay, Judy, pretty much the what's the difference? CD and general. Okay. No, it's not same. Well, the inspection report may come out same thing. Why? CT, they will inspect whatever they need to look at it. May not be the same. General, probably more detail because they will look at what they need to see. CD, they only care for whatever they need to see. Small detector, carbon monoxide detector. If you do any unpermitted area, in addition, everything. That's what they want to see. But general inspector, they probably see more thoroughly. They will go down the roof, they go in the attic. I see the inspector. Yeah.
My friends died from the CD because of the sink is
That is because more like that's more like the layout. General inspector doesn't care, so they may not be the same. The CD, they have their rule. Probably they're looking for like the safety issue, permit issue, or whatever, because on your sink, if it's not in the right location, it could be easily cause something happen. So it could be safety issue get involved. Just like the CD may come out with check on the pool. Everything just we'll talk about it. Okay, on Tuesday. General inspector, they probably only inspect. Okay, is it any safety? On the issue, but CD will definitely have to even check on the permit, everything, even more detail. So they are a little bit different though.
But if the some of a city, they require just like the general inspection, they probably doesn't really get much, on the low flow toilet or the water conservation shower head. But when the city inspector coming out, they may look at that. And because of that, we tell the seller, replace all toilet. Yeah, otherwise, hey, city won't sign off. We cannot do the transferring. But seller sometimes will tell the buyer, say, why don't you sign the release in 90 days, you'll correct the problem so we can close as soon as possible. I would not suggest my buyer do that. I'd rather have seller do it. Why don't you just do it right away? It's not going to take you, we can, if you do have those concerns, if you live on those city, would require the city inspection, why don't you do it sooner? Just for example, if you're in a Pasadena, when you take the listing, you should order the city inspection right away. Or if you plan to selling it. So when we open escrow, I already received the city inspection. Okay, cool. But a lot of Asian, they will rather wait until the last minute, And you better pray hard, nothing wrong with the property. Because I deal with that one property. Whew. Good thing is, it's a Pasadena inspector, nice, pretty girl coming out. James, the battery need to replace. You know that? Yeah, I know. The small detector, because even inside the garage, they need a small detector under city inspection. Okay, they require that. So every city's rule is different. You need to install. I know. Okay, I won't put out a report. I tell them I need to close right away. Don't worry, I won't put a report. I'll put everything past. But you remember, you replace the battery. Okay, I'll guarantee I'll do that. Yeah, have to do that. Yeah, especially don't fight with the inspector. Okay, be nice with them. Okay, even seller pay for it. You schedule, and you be there, and be nice with them. Because, hey, if they're late, don't blame them. Why don't you come in late? Or you did not show up. If they're late, so be it. Okay. They can give you all kinds of trouble. Don't you remember they are the government officer? They are more like a policeman. You're gonna have to treat, especially sometimes, when you treat those government official, like county or city inspector, they're like a policeman, a house policeman or building policeman. If you don't follow their rule, they can put the worst thing, they can put seller in jail. That's serious. Okay. Yeah. They tell you remove, all the unpermitted area sellers. No. Oh, you're in trouble. Okay. I'll see you in the court. Now, who believes the judge believe in the seller or inspector? Come on. Because somebody, just because that they put in the court. They don't believe it. They have that power. Yeah, they did. They put the seller into jail. You don't follow my instruction, you're in big trouble. Okay, listing agent acknowledgement. So the agent informed the seller and seller-landlord obligation under the code, and they are aware of an agent responsibility to ensure compliance. So when buyer seller sign, we need to sign. We cannot get away with it. Yeah. So we got a lot of liability. The more transaction you did, it's like heavy and heavier burden. Put it on your shoulder. Yeah. So we are getting more scarier every time, do the transaction. Number 3, buyer intent acknowledgement. We have received a copy of all information listed, if any, and it's one above in the pamphlet. Protecting your family from lead in your home, and an equivalent pamphlet approved for use to set status as the homeowner guide to the environmental hazard and earthquake safety. If delivery of any of this disclosure or pamphlet reference to the paragraph 1 above occur after acceptance of the offer of the purchase, buyer has a right to cancel pursuant to the purchase contract. If you wish to cancel, you must act within the prescribed period. So that's what 5 days. If you give it, if you did not give in the pamphlet, okay. So that one, the pamphlet is like a booklet. The lead-based paint and earthquake, and also the safety pamphlet. The actually our front desk, they all have it, or you can check with the Z-Form library. About 50 or 60 pages. Yeah, all you need to just email it to them, to the buyer. Suppose sellers should give us a pamphlet. In the good old day when we don't have a zip form and digital signature, or we handwriting everything, then we will include a disclosure statement package, including the pamphlet. Usually we have to deliver, okay? Listing agent, you have to deliver, or you have to mail it. And now we just do an email, okay? But most likely listing agent will forget the email. Just like, I do it, with the TC, okay, transaction coordinator, and they will email it to the buyer with the package, with the disclosure statement. Yeah. And for the transaction, only the buyer acknowledged the right for 10 days unless otherwise agreed in this real estate purchase contract to conduct a risk assessment inspection and for the presence of lead-based paint and or lead-based paint hazard. Or buyer waive the right to conduct a risk assessment inspection for the presence of lead-based paint and or lead-based paint hazard. So that's why don't delay. Do not delay the disclosure statement, because if somebody doesn't know they have a right to do the lead-based paint disclosure, then you delay to give out, say, after a week, you deliver the disclosure statement, and they read about this. Oh, okay, so we have a right for 10 days. Well, until they see it, they have 10 days. They're going to be delayed. The remove all contingency. So those are, you got to have to, counting the day. Be the listing agent. If you could, have the seller fill out the disclosure statement before open escrow. Sometimes we let the seller fill it out when we take the listing.
As a buyer agent, with the buyer, the disclosure, earthquake safety, those natural hazard, and the very common question we will ask, tell me what it is.
That's a disclosure, and a disclosure from seller. Whatever, they tell them and say they release their liability. You gotta have to read it thoroughly. If you have any question, we can discuss. If anything is so concerned by you, then we don't buy it. So even like prelim, natural hazard disclosure statement, that's all considered a disclosure. And you see how many pages? Prelim, 20-some pages. Okay, NHD, another 30-some pages. Okay, and plus inspection report, another 60 pages. And plus all the disclosure, easily over 100 pages. Read it.
The question we will ask is, they ask you to explain to them.
I could, but I will tell you word by word. I will go over with you. Okay, so that's why when we go through the disclosure statement, usually I will tell my client, give me about 2 hours, not half hour. I cannot finish. Give me at least 2 hours. And believe me, if the elderly couple, easily exceeding 3 hours. There are more questions when they sitting down. Okay, so that's why I usually schedule with them at the nighttime. So I don't have any other appointment behind it. Always delay. They have more questions, definitely. Because when they see those disclosure statement and they will say, oh, how about this? How about that? And because that is probably the spend most of the time with the client. But I tell you, and also that's how you build your report as a buyer's agent, your reputation as well. It's the time you show. You on the stage, show for 2 hours. Basically, you figure out that I'm on stage. Okay, who's the audience? Buyer. Yeah.
That's the time you do talking. Okay, that's not the time you keep your mouth shut. Oh, you read it, so I'm an extra. No, it's different. Okay? I tell you, keep the mouth shut, but sometimes you have to do the talking. That's when you do the disclosure statement. Then it's your time to do the talking. All right, it's not. You read it yourself and sign it yourself. Well, unless they are experienced buyer or they are agents too, because I sell the property to. I'm the listing agent. I sell the agents the property. They say, well, why don't you just list the property yourself? Oh, no, you're better. So I'll let you sell my home. Ooh, you sure? Okay, I'll pay you premium, 6%. Okay, great. Then they read it themselves and say they know. Say, James, you don't have to go over with me. I know what to read. Or what to fill it out. I tell them, I say, what? So I say, well, after you fill it out, and I go over with you. So if you miss anything, if you miss something, I'll give it back to you. Put it on again. Don't leave it blank for anything, because this is your only chance to release a liability, and you pass it on to the buyer, and that's good for at least 2-3 years or even longer if you do not disclose. So think. Even I know you know what you did is if it typically Asian, their English not good enough. That's okay. What do? You tell them using whatever the native language, put on a piece of paper. Do the brainstorming, everything. I go over with you the question. You put everything on the piece of paper. Then you want to do. I try not to do the translation, but I'll try to using our native language. I'll write it to the English on another piece of paper. Then they copy to the form. I would not fill it out for them on the form whatsoever. No. It got to be their own handwriting. After that, I destroy the scratch paper. Okay? It never happened. Okay? I would not leave any evidence. Okay? You want to do the sneaky way? Yeah. Otherwise, the seller will fill out everything. No. Huh. Then, come on. None of a house is perfect. It's no way your disclosure statement, everything is no. That means it's perfect house. Even they will fill out hey, yeah, we don't have any adjacent, share with the neighbor. Yeah, come on, your fence is share with the neighbor. But you still mark no? I even see, for the people with the HOA, they still mark no CC&R, no HOA. Wait a minute, come on. Or did you? I even received the blank SPQ, and I give it back to the listing agent. Tell the seller do it. Come on, you cannot leave blank. What the blank form? What do I sign for? Oh, because seller doesn't know how to fill it in. That's your problem, listing agent. Then if any cooperating agent acknowledgement, that's a buyer's agent. You sign on the paragraph 4. So it's going to be the 2 pages on the lead-based paint. And this is, it's very important. You need this form whenever you, lease it or selling it to the anything prior to 1978 property. Any question? No. Okay. Get the easier one today, and we also let's do it on the market condition. Those are the standard disclosures, and I'll leave the hardest one when I come back next year. Market condition, why we need the buyer signing this? Because sometimes we pay over asking, and buyer, you're willing. I didn't force you, right? You pay over asking because you pay for your likeness. You like this house, so you pay. So sign this. Real estate market are critical and can change over time. It is impossible to predict future market condition with accuracy. Why? Because we go different city by city. Sometimes you gotta have to look at the supply rate. There's no way we can predict the whole national housing market. So even NAR, they will tell, okay, what's the housing market? That's a national. There's no way we can predict that. Or even, go by the state. It's not too broad. Do the area, it's still too large. You say, how's the market for greater LA area? Well, it depends on the city. Even the city, you gotta have to depend on neighborhood. Okay? So that's why we need to narrow down to city, sometimes even narrow down to neighborhood, just like Irvine. Irvine's so big. And they got 800 houses of supply. But when you really get into the neighborhood, you'll see the difference. Some of the neighborhood only have few listing. For example, close to UC Irvine area, few listing. But where's those 800 listing from? Somewhere in the mountain, inland Irvine area instead of a closer coastal area. So you gotta have to narrow down to a neighborhood. So if you really want to practice, some of Orange County real estate, you better, study their neighborhood. Yeah. And you better have to know their history too. I read about the book, on the Irvine city, the whole booklet. It tells the history of the Irvine. Even I didn't really market the Irvine. Who knows when I need it? Just like, you be a tour guy, right? Hey, you drive a car, show the client, you're the tour guy. You're going to have to be able to tell them, how much on the house and this and our city and what's the history of this and other city. What's actually, you show them your knowledge, your expertise. Okay? And if you could, don't use a GPS. Yeah, don't use a GPS. Well, that's how you show, I know the neighborhood. I don't need to use a GPS, and I know where to turn. I mean, come on, you can practice the day before the showing, right? That's a little cheat. Huh? Oh, you need a GPS, go home. Okay. Ladies, it's okay. You can say, oh, I didn't know. That's okay. All right? Being a guy, as an agent, I say, you should know your market. Right? Yeah. That's a tough guy, You say, well, if you don't know your market, as a guy, as a realtor, and you show them property, you still use a GPS. People still trust you or not. Or if you really want to use a GPS, don't have your client inside your car. Tell them they drive a car, follow you. Okay? Yeah. But don't get lost. GPS would get you the wrong direction too. So, keep on circling. Then the client say, come on. Let me show you the way. Then some of our buyers, they know their market better than we do. Yeah. So even if you are lazy, we have on our map, on our MLS, they have a direction. They even can guide you. If, for example, you have 4 houses to show, and they will give you the sequence before you set an appointment. Which house show first? So the other house, or sometimes, if you can go by the sequence, that's fine. But sometimes, because to set an appointment, I may have to switch everything around. But you better know. But at least, if you could, see the map. Memorize the map. I know it's like sometimes as a girl or woman, they cannot really tell which way is north or south or west or east. Yeah. Understand. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Yeah, because I rather train myself. The GPS is right here, okay, instead of on my phone, smartphone. The phone really helps us, traffic. That's what I really use. You check the traffic and what's the time you'll be arrived, okay. That's what I use. But I mean, if you talk about using direction, when I'm using, on the GPS, is some area, if I really is not familiar with it, okay, then I will. Okay, but another thing is that, or when I have to do the talking,
and I try not to pay attention. I'm driving, then I probably turn the GPS on. If I have to return all the phone call, that's the time, when I'm driving. I gotta have to save some time. Otherwise, when there's too many missed call, I say, okay, and then I return all the phone call at once. And in the competitive or the hot real estate market, they are generally more buyer than seller. This will often lead to the multiple buyers competing for the same property. As a result, in order to make their offers more attractive, some buyer may offer more than original plan or eliminate certain contingencies in their offers. Make it more attractive and make it more competitive. That means you remove the sometimes, remember to tell you, when you submit the offer, sometimes not always a price issue. You gotta have to understand what sellers need, what sellers condition. Okay, so remember last time I told you the other strategy, I can probably increase the deposit. Okay, that's another way to make it more attractive on your offer, or not always the price. Sometimes you may have to remove the contingency, or sometimes you may have to let the owner free stay for a month or two, right? So you give in a free rent. So all kinds of strategy. It's not really showing on the piece of paper, what we call about a form, because you gotta have to play with it to dominate. Every time in our company, every time, every single transaction. No, doing the escrow. And what signing with the disclosure at the same time. Even the listing agent did not provide it to us. We will let our buyer sign it and give it back to the listing agent. Let the seller sign it. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to get lawsuit though, because every time as a manager and broker, it's tough thing is you attending on the co-workers, on the mediation, arbitration. The worst thing is court. Yeah, you don't want that, because you're wasting time for your whole days. And as a result of the order, okay. And in the less competitive or cool market, they are generally more seller than buyer, often causing the real estate price to level off or drop. Sometimes precipitously, the sales price has been sold for foreclosure. Short sale is difficult to anticipate and can affecting the value other than home in the area. Broker, appraiser, seller, and buyer that take the distressed property sales and listing into consideration when value property. In light of the real estate market cycling nature, to the important that the buyers understand the potential for little or no appreciation in value, or actual loss in value, or the property they purchase. This advisory discuss some of the potential risk inherent in change of a market condition. I know a lot of a buyer, when they want to buy the property, they want to be looking for appreciation. Did you ever see when the buyer buy the property and they depreciate? Yes, distress time. Yeah. When you buy the brand new house, it depreciates right away. Just like you buy the brand new car, it depreciates right away. Yes. What? This moment. If you're really looking for to buy the brand new house, appreciate right away, that's, you're still too early for that. 2004, 2003, yes. I show the client, I show the client for the brand new house, tell them to hold it. Usually we buy the last phase or last couple phase. After the sales office gone, we sell it, make the profit. On the break for the model home, no, never buy the model home. Too expensive. The last phase, you think it's okay. It depends how you work on it. That's why you don't need agent. Fine, you buy the highest. When you have an agent, it's not when it's slow market, okay, or it's average market. I can get discount from the builder, and I can get a group discount. When I grab 3 buyer, I buy 3. How much? 10,000 each, or 15,000, or 20,000 each. Everybody get discount, right? All 3 buyer, you happy? Okay. But do I make what? 3 commission at the same time. It is 3. After they close the sales office, well, I put everything on the listing. I make another 3 transaction. Okay, that's what I did before, and they keep on flipping. They keep on flipping, but that's under a lot of pressure. You gotta have to tell them to choose a model. You gotta have to look at a lot. What is easy to sell? You gotta have to look at it, because later on you're the listing agent. You gotta have to know how to sell. Okay, and make sure they're making a profit.
This happened only in the last phase.
Last was
Previous phase, the builder will have
because that builder will let you sign what? You cannot sell the property within 1 year. But when they're moving the sales office, they finish all the phase. Do they really care? Right?
maybe the last phase, they still put this condition.
And I will refuse to sign.
Okay.
And they agree. They said, what you guys are moving. Why should I need to sign? Okay, fine. You don't sign it. That's why it's an agent negotiating for my buyer. That's what we talk about negotiation, not just a pricing and so to the condition. A lot of people say, well, I can buy the brand new house myself. Yeah, go ahead. But you're losing the right. I fight for you. Yeah. That's different. But that's a good old day, though. I mean, now it's hard. Used to be appreciate. You remember used to be they appreciate probably like 15-20% a year. Yeah. Now we can't. 6-7%. We're lucky. Yeah. So they didn't really have much profit. And certainly, one of my seller, they certainly got I told them don't buy the first or second phase, and they do not listen. I say, hey James, they won't know. I say, yes, they will know. You signed the form. I told you don't buy that. And you know what? She got a lawsuit from builder. They got it settled with 20 grand. Yeah. After I sold it, I still make my commission. I don't care. But I told you. Yeah. After we sold it, here's an attorney letter. I told you, they watch it. How do they know? I said, come on. They can access the MLS too, or any public record, right? You're competing with them. You are selling listed property, and they still sales office still selling out of face. You're competing with them, right? Yeah. Then definitely they will sue you.
Please talk about
Current market? Well, personally, I won't buy any brand new. Okay, but any buyer want to buy the brand new house, I'll still show them. Oh, I take my 3%, 4%, even 5% commission. That's fine. I would love to. But if you talk about, oh, I'm buying and invested, I want to sell the right away. Don't, please. I won't. I can't. It's no way I can flip the property now. There's no way. You buy it, depreciate. Brand new one. You gotta have to plan. The first 5 years, don't sell anything. Look at it. We just look at, for the Chino. Chino on the brand new house on the south side of the Chino, right? They got so many listings. Did they buy it? Anybody? But how come the Chino, North Chino, close to 60 freeway, it's hot cake to everybody buying left and right? It's an old house, 1975. It's about the same price. Why? Those houses, you got middle roofs, you got HOA. If you buy as an investment, whose money is that? Okay. And the people, what they really consider is I'd rather live somewhere closer to the freeway, so easy to access on the otherwise, traffic is bad. Traffic won't get any better. Okay. The traffic, I don't think will get any better until we probably get the autopilot, driving and share ride or whatever. Later on, we don't buy any car. Basically, when you need a car, your car, the automatic, they say the Uber, okay, autopilot Uber will just park in your driveway when you're ready to use it. So those are the time you don't buy any car, but you probably won't see another 10 years. But during the meantime, you still you drive, and the over there certainly the smell not so good either. Yeah. Well, that's a fresh country smell. You gotta have to take a deep breath. Even you don't like it in front of a buyer, you better do it. Well, the only thing I really don't like it is the flies. Okay, the flies actually I cannot prevent it though. Especially summertime. You show the property in Chino. But the issue is the disadvantage over there is if you see those new builder, especially even the part of Ontario south side, you look at it, brand new house. Not only the smell, flies. Now you gotta see the high voltage tower. Some of them on the south side. Okay, yeah, you see that.
Especially the park place.
Yeah, so those are it's gonna be hard to sell. Even when I help the client, unless I say, James, in my lifetime, I really want to buy a brand new house, affordable. Oh, affordable. Then what can I do? Fontana too far? Okay, then Chino. Yeah. Then I show them, not the park. The college park it probably might be a little bit better, but if you look at the preserve, that's way back. Yeah. And College Park, you gotta have to find it, visually at least doesn't want to see on the high voltage tower. Okay, who knows? Later on, they still want me to sell that. Yeah, you plan ahead of time. Okay, you're gonna have to plan ahead of time. Unless they insist want to buy something you don't think is a good idea. Oh, it's next to major traffic street. Oh, next to freeway. I already give you the warning. It's gonna be hard to sell. I sell the house next to railroad. It's hard to sell. Yeah. Depend on it's our president. If get reelected, 2020, keep on going up. If it did not, okay, I will get some correction after 2020. Yeah. Because he owned the most of real estate. He won't let it down. He won't let us down. We got it with him, right? Okay. Yeah. No, I vote for whoever can make me money. Okay. Yeah. Now only one party can make us money. Okay. The other is blue collar. I don't think it will make us money. You gotta consider what a white collar people. Yeah. Okay. And a buyer's consideration. Offering the price as a buyer, you are responsible for determine the price you want to offer for a property. How many buyers are gonna ask you, what price should I offer? You gotta have to determine. You gotta have the knowledge enough to determine what price. You gotta have to look at the market and look at the potential, look at the lot size, look at the year, okay? Look at the whole picture and give it an idea. If you want to be your agent for life, you better do that. You gotta study. So that's why when you just get a license, you're nobody. You're nothing. You don't know anything. Yeah. A lot of people they say.
That's why we are here.
But I mean, you gotta have to, you gotta have to do it. Practice everything. It's just like you preview the home, especially vacant home. You don't need to, knock on someone's sales and just use a super to get in. You just have to look at enough house to gain knowledge, okay, and understand the neighborhood, especially on your own market. Then I can learn from something.
This is what
Everybody is like that. We yeah. No, not every weekend. Usually when I practice, we have to look at it every day, whatever the on the market. Okay. If I and it used to be doesn't have a GPS, we have to eliminate the our Thomas guy, a map, and highlight it. Okay, where I'm gonna go today. Yeah. So we're starting on that. So now it's I know it's a lot of agents that get lazy. Just like what I'm saying, they even they figure they don't need to put open house sign. People will come, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's different. So that's why you gotta have to understand the market because you are the buyer's eye. You are helping them to make a decision. That's very important. You are helping the buyer making a decision because it's a big decision. Maybe in their lifetime, it's a big decision. You need to push them, but don't be a pushy salesman. I know it's like because I come from auto industry, and a lot of people think the car sales is a pushy salesman. We have to, because when you walk away today, you may not come back. Yeah. Real estate market, a little bit better, but not so much better. A lot of people have so many buyer's agent. You just have to earn their trust within 5 minutes. Oh yeah, oh yeah. How? Wow. I would share whatever I can, but it depends on, you gotta have to know everything because people actually, when you are talking a stranger, are they interviewing you already? Pretty much. They gotta see if you have knowledge or not. Right? Yeah. So that's why you rather work on a referral business than a fresh lead. Because a referral business, usually your clients already endorse you. So it's more reliable client than if the fresh lead, if any, especially from internet lead, they're the worst. Yeah. I know a lot of people talk about social media, blah, blah, blah. They are the worst. Why? Because those are abandoned client from other agent. Did you ever abandon your client? Yeah. The bad client, let someone have it. Yeah, not me. I can tell my client, you are not qualified to be my client. Yeah, you are not good enough to be my client, put it this way. Yes. Yo, get out. Huh?
What did they do so bad?
Oh, I say, by the time I say, oh, how much kickback you can give it to me? Get out. We don't even haven't started see any property. Referral? Referral, I didn't really say, most of them I didn't get it. I would say very, very, very rarely I get a referral fee. Referral, it just is because you gotta have to show it's a referral. They love you. You gotta have to make them love you the most. Okay? And you gotta have to make them remember you all the time. So you not only that, you gotta have to call. Okay, call your past client. And at least say hi. Oh, I'd like to share with you something. Well, sometimes, if they are stopping by, okay, and yeah, it seems like you're always stopping by their house or an area. Or basically how you get some of referral, you join a club or join something, activities, let people get to know you. And you share the information because when you share the information, you basically it's your knowledge for free. So then when they need something, you'll start collecting. That's when you get return. Yeah, that's the time. So the referral could be so many ways to do it. But I mean, at least the bottom line is you have to make your past client remember you. If they don't remember you, you're nobody. But some of the client, I don't want them to remember me. Okay? Yeah.
Is there any fixed percentage for the referral fee?
No. I don't give it anything. I'm cheap.
If you refer a buyer for me, you can deal.
Well, I know I will refer to someone if I'm out of my area. San Diego, San Francisco, yeah, 25% more or less. That's a referral fee. Yeah. As little I collect, sometimes, you know, people pay me 20%, at the most is 30%. I'm glad to accept anything, but that's why I say average 25% of referral fee outside of the area or outside the state. You cannot practice anyway, right? Refer to the agent over there. Oh yeah, referral form. Yeah, zip form. They have it. Although the broker may provide you with the comparable sales data generally from the information published in the local multiple listing service, you should know that the reporting of this data is often delayed and price may change up and down faster than the report sales indicate. Why? Every time we do it as a history, just like appraisal value. Appraisal value is a history. It's not the current one. So that's why when our market go upswing fast, believe me, appraisal value is hard to catch. It's always below our purchase price. Why? People say, oh, the house is not worth it. Well, look at it. That's a past 3 months history or half-year history. There's no way they can catch up at the current market. Yeah. So you gotta have to educate buyer. Don't get naive when the market upswing fast. You always play catch up. There's no way you can pay for, if the appraisal value they can appraise to your purchase price. Actually, you get a discount price already. That's below market already. But if you are a little bit above the appraisal value, that's normal. When you offer, you gotta have to educate them. But if you don't, they may cancel. So you gotta have to do a lot of works. But some of the sellers, they're pretty greedy. If you think that house is going to be sitting there, so be it. I probably won't offer anything. Or I can tell them, okay, this one, I think it's a little bit overpriced. Yeah, let's add some discount, see if, you know, how's everything doing. But they're expecting, because if the seller did not adjust the price, that telling the, what's the sign? The seller is not serious. Most likely, we don't show, we don't even submit offer. Forget about our listing. So that who is hurting? Listing agent, so to the seller. But sometimes a listing agent cannot control. Usually I'm begging a buyer, whatever the offer you bring it in, that's okay. Even lowball offer, that's okay. Why? Let the buyer's agent be the bad guy. I'm a listing agent. I cannot tell. When I keep on telling sellers dropping the price, they're not listening. But when the offer coming in, what can I say? Told ya. Yeah. So that's why, because we all look at the history. So you should think of the following. One, if your offer is accepted, the property value may not increase and may even decrease. Well, when the market going down. When the people buying in 2009, 2008, after the buy, going down further. Because it's not the bottom yet. Two, if your offer is accepted, you may have a buyer's remorse that you pay too much. Well, it's because the appraisal value coming low. You gotta have to explain that. Three, if your offer is rejected, there's no guarantee that you will find a similar property at the same price. Because you didn't pay high enough. Some of the listing, they are purposely market low. And don't get stupid, get naive, and just, oh, I think I pay full price. They gotta sell it to me. BS. They have better offer. Why do they have to sell it to you, right? And four, if your offer is rejected, you may not be satisfied that the amount of an offer was right for you. Only you can determine that your offer was reasonable, prudent, in light of the property of your circumstance. Sometimes if the buyer is pretty stubborn buyer and if they don't listen to your suggestion or recommendation, I will let them offer whatever they want first time, the most second time. And I know we won't get it. I will not let them do it third time. because at the first or second time, I think we better sit down and talk. What's wrong with our offer, first and second? Why seller did not choose us? You tell me. You ask the buyer. Well, then, are you going to listen to me now? If you don't, here's the door. Get out. You're wasting my time. Because every time we submit the offer, we bet on our reputation. You know that? And every time if I got, you know, the lower offer, I gotta, you know, apologize to the listing agent before you and I submit the offer. I say, this is my buyer's decision. I try to push as high as I can, but please don't get upset. And if you could tell the sellers, give a counter. If not, and please give us a rejection. I understand. I know it may wasting your time to present this offer, my offer. But this, that's how I have to build up my reputation. Don't ruin it. The longer you're in this career, your reputation is really important, because sometimes a listing agent, they don't look at who is your buyer. They look at who is the buyer's agent. So that's why it's different. If you know somebody, oh, I worked with them before, and sometimes, you know, I don't even know until after I close of escrow. I say, hey, you know, listing agent told me. I checked with you, or if they are buyer's agent, I'm a listing agent. You know, I asked my coworker, anybody know you, and see, you know, how. Oh, you already checked my background already. I see. Okay, good. Yeah. So that's why you gotta, if somebody badmouth about you, if it's not in the transaction, they are more like jealous. You're success. Okay, you succeed. Because someone is jealous on you, you must be succeed. Okay. But the other way, you gotta have to keep your reputation in a good way, not the bad way. The bad way, they would. Oh, this guy, no, I would never accept his offer. It doesn't matter who's a buyer. Then you're in trouble. Yeah. Yeah.
After the sellers come to offer one,
Mm-hmm.
and the seller keeps silence after receiving the buyer's counter offer one,
Mm-hmm.
and the buyer would like to
Mm-hmm.
what kind of form or what?
Withdraw offer. Withdraw offer.
Withdraw offer.
Yeah.
And
Another buyer's counter, number 2.
buyer's counter offer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go over with that with the.
Even without the seller's counter offer.
Yeah, you gotta have to withdraw the first offer. Withdraw the first offer. Yeah.
How to withdraw?
Just that's a form, withdraw offer form. It's called a withdraw offer. Yeah.
Send the withdraw offer and the counter offer too.
Yes. So those are, you withdraw the buyer's counter number 1 and submitted the buyer's counter number 2. Yeah. But usually I would doing it as I would probably call a listing agent. Communicate first. Don't just send the offer. Every time I submit the offer, I call listing agent first. How's you doing? Any offer working on it? Any room to negotiate? Yeah. Do you think if like this price or whatever the price may be, you just keep shooting at whatever the number, do you think we can put it together? Yeah. Always talk to the listing agent first before you submit the offer. Not just submit the offer, and some of the buyer's agent, they don't even call the listing agent to follow up. Have you received my offer? I will forget about their offer. Even I receive it, I still, as a courtesy, say receive, and they still don't tell me. Or reply, oh, okay. Nothing. Do I really want to work with this type of a buyer's agent? They're not communicating. When I need something, I cannot find you. Right? Yeah.
Is there any way to verify multiple counter offer one? Even though it's
okay, the listing agent, when they issue the multiple counter, it has to be receiving the offer. If by somebody talking, I'm going to offer you. No, that's not considered offer. You got to have to physically having the offer in front of you.
and that's considered a offer. If another thing is that if you have more than 2, fine. But if you just want to counter one buyer, I'm repeating that, you can only use a single counter, not multiple. Even you have 2 or 3 offer.
That's my question. I doubt the multiple counter, multiple it's not real.
That's fine. You report it to the board.
I don't have any proof.
That's okay. Tell the board to show.
Yeah,
Board has a right to show me all the offer.
Owner as a buyer's agent.
Buyer's agent you don't, but you can have a buyer to knock on the door to the seller. They have a right to talk to the seller directly. Just like buyer, no, not buyer's agent, buyer. We don't have a right to talk to the seller, but buyer do have a right to talk to the seller directly. Okay, they are the principal. Buyer has the right to see to show the seller, say, look, did you ever see my offer? Just like, can buyer's agent present the offer directly in front of a seller? Yes, we do have a right to do that. But buyer has a right to question seller, did you ever see my offer? And did you know your, how come, I want to make sure, how many did you counter? Buyer has a right to question seller, not me though, not as a buyer's agent. Yeah. But I mean, if you have any doubt, well, you can certainly, talk to the board and see if, is there any way they can check on it if the same board. Yeah. But on the other hand, is that's why the reputation is important.
So you can have the buyer go to the seller directly asking how many offers you see.
Did you ever see my offer?
And did you ever see my offer?
Yeah, because sometimes, the listing agent purposely hiding your offer. They present their own offer. They want to be a dual agent. Okay. Our market, the career, you'll see, some of the agent, they are, I would say, what can I say? Oh, well. You just, what I can say is like, just move on. Because one thing I can tell you comes around, goes around. I will remember those agents. Next time, don't submit the offer on my listing. You're in trouble. Yeah. Because, yeah, if you treat it, unfairly, other side will remember you. $1 commission, we cannot control that $1 commission. But you know what you can do is tell the buyer pay you. You want me to show that property? Sure, you pay me. And I got a chance to let them sign a buyer's agreement. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay me because they only pay me $1. It's not enough though. Yeah. If the buyer say, "Oh no, I don't want to pay you," and I say, "Go see it yourself. You are not qualified to be my buyer because you don't even want to pay me. Then you are not qualified." Okay. I say usually a seller pay. You think it's a really seller pay? It is seller pay, but who actually pay for the whole price? Buyer. Right? On the other hand, buyer pay for all the commission because they pay everything to seller, and seller actually disperse their part of their equity, pay on the commission. So on the other hand, if buyer doesn't want to pay you, then I'm sorry, you're not good enough to be my buyer. Just like, we have the right to refuse the service, just like restaurant, just like doctor, so the attorney. And we are the real estate doctor. We're the real estate attorney. See how good you are. You can certainly, sell yourself cheap. It's up to you. Yeah. The buyer cannot obtain if the non-contingency offer. Most residential purchase Agree contain the contingency allow a buyer within a specified period of time to cancel the purchase. One, the buyer cannot obtain the loan. That's obvious. The loan is not easy to get it at this moment. Two, is dissatisfied with the property condition after the inspection. If you look at too many items need to repair, sometimes they want to cancel. Three, if the property does not appraise at a certain value to make an offer more attractive, buyer will sometimes write an offer with a few or no contingency or offer to remove contingency within a short period of time. In a hot market, seller will sometimes insist the buyer write an offer with no contingencies. That's the Northern California way they buy the property. That's the way. Well, certainly not at this moment, but I mean, for the couple of years, you gotta have. You want to get the property, you cannot have any contingency. Otherwise, you won't get it. San Jose area, especially their median price 1.6 million now. Our median price is 600,000. How do we compare? Everything is cheap here to them. To the Northern California people, it is. Yeah. So the broker recommend that the buyers do not write non-contingency offer, and if you do so, you are actually against the broker advice. I didn't force you to remove it because you want to get this property. I tell you, this is one of a strategy you can use, but it's your choice. Or when you offer over asking, listing agent may counter you. Buyer need to remove a appraisal contingency. That means you cannot using the appraisal value to renegotiate or cancel the offer. Because when I receive the appraisal value, sometimes I may renegotiate. It happened. Okay? Huh? Not really often. I help the client to buy the a 4-unit property in Hacienda Heights. 16 offers. 16 offers. Early this year. 16 years. 16 offers. The top offer about $130,000 more than asking. 130,000. That's about almost 10%. My buyer doesn't want to chase though. So where I stand, number 5. Later on, I found out I'm standing at number 5. But I don't know. I guess God helped me. First cancel, second cancel, third cancel, fourth cancel. Oh, finally! Fifth. I never expected. After a couple of weeks later, listing agent say, James, I think it's meant to be you. I like you, but your price is not high enough. Seller cannot choose you. But for some reason, 1, 2, 3, 4, ding, 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 gone. Now it's your turn. Great. So we get at a price. We still keep the same price. Okay. Later. When the appraisal coming out, short, way short. Oh, that's way below the asking price. I gotta have to persuade the buyer. Say, look, I have the potential. I gotta start doing talking, right? I say we can ask some discount, but it's not gonna be all. So we're starting. Split the difference. That's fair, right? It's about $120,000 less than how much you want to pay for. $120,000. That's another 10%. Woo-hoo! Seller said, the first one is all cash. Unfortunately, their cash is not in the United States yet. Oh, no wonder. Yeah. So no matter how high you offer. Okay. So we split the difference and end up we are close of escrow pretty much on the asking price. Yeah. Actually, originally we paid about $50,000 more than asking. Yeah. And later on back to the asking. That everybody happy? Okay. So that's what we do to renegotiate during the escrow and for the when the appraisal coming out. Yeah. What's your question?
Does the seller has the right to choose the second highest or the third highest, even though the first is?
Seller has a right to choose the lowest. Then you better reject rest of the offer with the good reason. I don't know why, because I did a short sale before. Seller choose the worst offer. I have a cash offer, I submitted, and I didn't get it. Even listing agent, I will give it to you, but seller choose someone that's financing, and our price is even higher. Why? Oh, because the guy is a veteran. He has a finance VA loan. Oh, you're so patriot, huh? Okay, fine. Can I say anything? I can't. That's a seller's choice, right? Same thing. Seller has a right to choose the worst offer. Then you better reject it and tell them the reason. Then it's not my issue. It's a seller's choice. So it doesn't mean highest always win. So sometimes the letter, I don't know, did you, every time you offer, and if it's really competitive, and if the buyer, sometimes we encourage a buyer, why don't you just, tell me something about yourself and why you need this house, something. Then I put it in, okay? So try to earn on the sellers, okay? Their willingness, but that's only work for Caucasian. Asian, dollar sign. That's what I can see. Asian, always dollar sign. They don't care who you are. Dollar sign. Most of them. Yeah.
Hey, James, I like you. You are the best agent, so that's why I give to your buyer.
It happened to me before. Yes, it happened to me before. Yes. Yeah, I did earn their trust and earn the transaction because of on my reputation. Yes, I had that before.
Yeah. So is that the buyer choose whatever the offer that they want?
A seller? Seller choose the offer? Yeah. Yeah. Basically, when we have a multiple offer, we just show them, all the offer in front of a seller. Some of a seller, they say, James, let me help you do the Excel. Oh, cool. They see all the offers, they 10 offer, they make a pro and con, everything. And Excel say, oh boy, you're good, okay. Because my Excel is in my brain, and you gotta have to write it down. That's fine, okay. And I tell you, which each offer, the pro and con, you make a choice. I don't want to butt in, especially you got multiple offers. Then if that's the situation, I try not to be a dual agent. If I rather be a single agent, single party, because you're in trouble easily. Dual agent got most of a lawsuit. That's why our seniority realtor, they will tell you, if you want to work in this career for a long time, try to avoid a dual agent. Yeah, I try to avoid it. One side, I'm happy, unless if you have to do a dual agent, your offer has to be the highest, and your condition has to be the best. So other people and the other agent, they want to challenge. But sometimes as a listing agent, it's really hard to prevent. It's like some of the listing agents, they're pretty bad, as they will leak what the other offer coming in, and you keep on pushing your own buyer. That's a bad listing agent. Yeah. That could happen. And if somebody want to practice that, I cannot stop.
Do you ever have the listing agent work with you and the seller pick up your offer and your offer was the second best?
Yeah, third best.
Third best.
Or just a letter, compassion letter. Yeah, that's a letter. My client is not the best, and not the highest offer. Credit is not the best. The down payment is least than other offer.
But why seller choosing us? They're not greedy. They want somebody. They want someone to buy their own the house. With they will take care. Sometimes the seller, they want somebody they can take care their house. Even it's no longer it's their house, but they want to sell to someone to take care of their house. Sometimes they, first of all, they don't like investor. They will piss the house. Okay. Second of all, cash offer. Some of a seller forget about cash offer. Remember, I just tell you my cash offer. I lose to what a VA loan with 10% down. Yeah. Sellers now. Some of sellers, not all the sellers greedy. Yeah. Because that's what I heard the listing agent say, that VA loan buyer, and they just keep on knocking the door. Hopefully they can meet because there's a vacant house, and just happened they met the seller. So they're begging seller to sell the house to him because it's a hot market and he cannot get any house, on the neighborhood. Then he say, please, if you are passionate with me, then please sell the house to me. Even I know I may not be the higher, this is the best I can do, 10% down. And if you're not, so if you can accept my offer. So even my cash offer, 10-day escrow, it lose to a 60-day escrow with the last price with 10% down. That's a seller's choice. Okay, yeah. Okay, let me finish this. Okay. So broker recommend that the buyer do not write non-contingency offer, and if you do so, you are actually against the broker's advice. However, if you do write a non-contingency offer, there is something contractual right you may be giving up. Well, it is though, because contingency, that means you have a right to cancel. If you remove the contingency, you give up your right to cancel, whatever the right may be. Okay. One, loan contingency. If you give up your loan contingency and you cannot obtain a loan, whether or through your fault or the fault of your lender, as a result, you cannot purchase the property. You may legally be the default under the contract and required to pay damage and forfeit your deposit to the seller. Well, that's pretty important. So that means if you want to remove the loan contingency, you better have enough cash to back you up. So that means if the loan doesn't go through, you pay cash for it. Or you have somebody like hard money.
A lot of people doesn't have cash. You only have down payment.
Then do not remove loan contingency.
So if you not move, that seller will not sell the house.
Then don't buy this house. Next one. Somebody will. Yeah, it depends on how good you are to persuade the listing agent. Yeah. Because what happened? I just told you I canceled a escrow. That's a house, for the government is an assist loan. Government assist loan and plus another 80%. Then later on, why we still cancel? Because the lender cannot financing. HOA have litigation. They just won't give up. They are so picky on it. Even the litigation is so small. So the seller willing to cancel, fine. And how long do we been passing after acceptance? 40 days. We still cancel, get the money back. Even I don't like that, but it's my job to protect the buyer because I'm the buyer's agent. Yeah. No, we cancel because I tell them, I say, we cannot get financing because your HOA has litigation, and that's not the loan issue. Not exactly the loan issue because HOA has litigation. It's a small amount. Even we show them an attorney letter, insurance, it will cover everything. It's only 50,000, stipulation, and the insurance cover over $1 million. Then the underwriter still would get let go. Yeah, because those are sometimes the government loan. It's not exactly the government loan, people. It's just sometimes they will get a government loan. It says people, you know, you gotta have to persuade the listing agent first, because we originally, when we submitted the offer, we submitted 30-day contingency period. 30 days. Yeah, with a 50-day escrow. And that's not far from here in Hacienda High. It's actually the Hacienda High property. You gotta have to know somebody to persuade. And that's why I tell the buyer, say, should we want to change a lender? Not so tight, but because they're 80% loan, they get about 3.4%. You cannot find any loan, 30 years fixed, 3.4%, because they qualify for low income, everything, 3.4% loan. And that lender must be get some incentive. Even when we change a different lender, is to get 4%. Hey, come on, regular people, we have to get 4.5, 4.75 to close to 5%. And the low income people, they get a discount rate if you know the lender. So those are different. But on the other hand, 3.4 to 4%, that's about $100 different. And buyer still doesn't, oh no. Well, plus, they do have some, family accident happen, so doesn't really have mind on the purchasing. So I don't blame them. I tell them it's $100. You first of all, you don't find any seller will treat you the same. Next one. And not only that, coming year, the price could start going up. You may not get the same. Not only that, the interest rate will start going up. So that $100, it costs you more. You sure you don't want to cancel? You sure you want to cancel? Yeah, okay, fine. 2, appraisal contingency. If your lender or your own appraisal does not believe the property is worth what you have agreed to pay for it, your lender may not loan the full amount needed to the purchase and may not loan any amount of all because of the low appraisal. Sometimes the lender can refuse to fund the loan because of appraisal. And sometimes not the appraiser, they are more like the eyes of the property. I mean, some unpermitted area, they may state it. Any legal issue, they may state it. And once they state it, you'll forget about this purchase. You may just kill the deal, just as an appraiser. Okay, appraiser is more like a part of an inspector now for lender. They're not just appraise the value. They look at the condition of the house. If the house is so beat up, inhabitable, they're not going to fund the loan. Even, whatever the price may be, they just won't. Yeah. So you have to pay cash for it. Or sometimes if we inhabitable, we may have the buyer do the repair first before the lender fund the loan. Yeah. And as a result, if you do not purchase the property and you have removed your appraisal contingency, you may legally be in default under the contract and could be required to pay the damage to and forfeit your deposit to the seller. The seller is not obligated to reduce the price to match the appraisal value. Right? Yeah. It's my house. I want to sell whatever you want. That's what you like to offer. Appraisal value doesn't mean anything to me. Take or leave it. I can put it back in the market. Big deal. Yeah. Okay. So that's why you gotta make that. That's why we have the buyer signing this with all the disclosures, because you're telling them seller's not obligated. I'm the listing agent. We give it out to let the buyer sign. If the appraisal value coming low, seller's not obligated to match the appraisal value or reduce any from your purchase price. You can cancel, that's fine. But if you remove the appraisal contingency, you cannot certainly, you give up your right to renegotiate and so to cancellation based on the appraisal value. You cannot cancel. And because you appraisal value is low and cost your loan, you think, oh, I can still have a loan contingency. Wrong. If the appraisal value did not go through lower, okay, the purchase and cost your loan didn't go through since you only got 20% down, okay? Seller still has the right to forfeit your deposit if you remove your appraisal contingency. because I played those games before 2014, when the purchase agreement changed. When they revised after November 2014, I cannot play those gray area. Because it used to be when I do it, I say, okay, hey, still have a long contingency. Now they separate two different contingency. You cannot use the appraisal contingency to caught up with the long contingency. So that means if the appraisal value match the purchase price, the buyer can still finance. Then doesn't mean your loan doesn't get approved. Your loan is approved, but you need to appraise the value. Then you cannot say, oh, because the loan doesn't go approved, then I need to cancel to get my money back. No, if you remove the appraisal contingency. So those are, you got to be, well educated and know your buyer situation before you submit the offer. And try not to remove any contingency unless you are 100%, you ask about you're 100% sure you can cover the differences. Yeah. Okay, we'll stop here. Then I'll resume, on the next year for starting with the SPQ and the TDS. Okay, and have a nice holiday.